Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Caira and I live in Chicago. I make all sorts of videos about Chicago, apartments, living downtown, Trader Joe's. It's a really good time and you're gonna wanna press that big red subscribe button. But today's video I am so excited to make for you. This is a video I have thought about making for a really long time because one of the most commonly asked questions I get from you guys is, what should I do when visiting Chicago? Or I have friends coming from out of town, what should I take them to in Chicago? I have a couple of videos where I go around the city with my friends and family when they're visiting and I show you what I do with them. But today I wanted to just rattle off a list of all of my favorite things to do when I have people coming from out of town visiting. Some of the items in today's list are going to be seasonal. If you are unaware, Chicago has wild weather, and a lot of the things that you can do in the city are only available in summer or winter, etc. But it's going to be a comprehensive list, that way it really is for any time of the year. There will be different things for different seasons that I want to share. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into my top list of things to do when visiting Chicago. Number one, everybody's heard of the Bean. If you're coming to Chicago, I don't need to tell you to go take a picture in front of the Bean because I know you're gonna do it anyways. But I recommend getting another really great city view and another really great photo op at a rooftop bar. There are tons of places in the city that have rooftop bars that you can get some spectacular views. A lot of people know of Cindy's Rooftop. This overlooks Grant Park. It is beautiful. There is also London House. This one overlooks the river and that is another really great spot. Both of these places are pretty decently expensive, but a good place to grab a drink and have a good view. I also really like Raised an Urban Rooftop. This one is a little bit lower, not quite as jaw-dropping of a view, but they have a really good food menu that isn't quite as pricey, so that one could be a really good option for you as well. Another absolute Chicago fan favorite is doing the architecture tour. I am not a tour person. I honestly don't really like tours at all. However, the architecture tour really is very cool. If you are coming and visiting Chicago, I do recommend it. It is fascinating. Chicago has such cool architecture in the city. It's something that you really can't learn very much about until you're on the tour and you have somebody who talks your ear off for 60 to 90 minutes. But it is very, very cool. You will learn a lot and some of the tour guides are honestly hilarious. There's also a bar on board, which makes for a great time. If you are looking to kind of do a little bit more of a budget trip to Chicago, because the architecture tour is about $50 to $60 depending on the one you do, you can always do the water taxi. The water taxis are seasonal, so they only run during the summer months, which is a bit of a bummer because they are so cool. But the water taxis pick up at Michigan Ave and go all the way down the river and can drop you off in Chinatown, which is another one of my favorite parts of Chicago. There's also another water taxi route that goes from Michigan Ave and goes out of the lake and goes down to South Loop. I've never personally been on that one, but that one could be really cool if you are looking to get more of the skyline from the lake. However, keep in mind it is a lot windier out there, so you're gonna wanna bundle up. I recommend bring layers no matter what time of year it is and wherever you're doing either the architecture tour or the water taxi, because they can get very chilly. Going to Wrigley and going to a game at the Cubs Stadium is another thing that people stan when coming from out of town, and I don't blame them. Wrigley is a very, very cool field. You can have the full experience, get the bleachers tickets, have yourself a Chicago hot dog, watch yourself a ball game, but I recommend going up to Wrigley even if it is not a Cubs game. The bars up there are wild. They are unlike anything I've ever seen. They're huge and decorated like crazy. They often do themes depending on the time of year. So obviously in summer, they're all gonna just be Chicago Cubs themed. They go hard in the paint. But Christmas comes around and they do the 12 bars of Christmas and it's unlike anything I've ever seen. I don't know where they keep all of these Christmas decorations for the rest of the year, but it's unreal. They also change their decorations for Fat Tuesday, again for St. Patrick's Day. Super fun, very cool themed bars up there. I highly recommend checking them out. On the lower end of Wrigley is Happy Camper in Wrigleyville, and that bar is decorated very cool all year round. They also have amazing pizza, and if you're coming in wintertime and looking for some things to do when there's not so much, I highly recommend looking up their Christmas bingo and making a point to go up there for bingo night because it is such a fun time. I touched on it lightly, but Chinatown. Chinatown is one of my favorite places in the whole entire city and one of the places I absolutely love to bring people when they're coming from out of town. I love going to QXY Dumplings. It is honestly my favorite restaurant in all of Chicago. Their dumplings are soup dumplings and they're made fresh and it's just such a cool experience. But I do recommend visiting trying Lei Xiaozhan. This is another Chinese restaurant in Chinatown that is phenomenal. It's more like Szechuan style, a little bit spicy, but so good. There's also Happy Lamb Hot Pot. That's all you can eat and it's phenomenal. Or Sushi Rotary is another one that's popped up. It's where they have sushi coming around on conveyor belts. Some of it gets delivered by a little subway train. Your drinks get delivered by a robot. It's just a very, very cool place where you can have some really unique dining experiences that won't break your bank, and everything is delicious. If you're looking for somewhere for dinner with a good view, I highly recommend Pizza Portofino on the river. That place is beautiful. The inside is just as beautiful as the outside. So even if you're coming in wintertime, that is a great place to stop in and eat. They are very well known for the best truffle fries in the whole city. It's right on the river. If you are ever on a boat, your boat can pull up to Pizza Portofino on the river and they will deliver food to you right there. But it's a super cool spot, very good food, and you have an absolutely beautiful view. Another one of my favorite Italian restaurants in the city is Cortino. This is in River North. They do lots of tapas style pastas, so it's a pasta plate, but not quite enough for one full person. So what you do is you order a ton of things, do family style, and share all of the different dishes. That's a really, really fun one because you can go with a big group and it's really, really easy to try lots of stuff. And they offer wine by the liter, and so that's a really fun option as well. If you are looking to go to different museums, I highly recommend the Shed Aquarium and the Art Institute. I've also done the Field Museum and it wasn't my favorite, but the Shed Aquarium and the Art Institute both blew me away. The aquarium was really, really cool, tons of awesome stuff. Even if you don't have a kiddo like I don't, it was still a really, really fun time and there's so much to see. And the Art Institute blew me away. That place is massive. I cannot put to words how big it is. We were there for 4 hours and I think we only saw a quarter of it. So definitely, if you are someone who enjoys museums, carve out the time to go because they are beautiful, huge, and definitely well worth the time. There's also the Astrology Museum that I really want to go to that I haven't. And there's tons of different pop-ups of different art installations and smaller museums all over the city at all times. Currently, there's the Banksy Museum, which is really popular, but those change, so they're not as evergreen. If you are here in the summertime, one of my favorite things to do with people from out of town is rent divvy bikes and ride the lakefront. It is beautiful, especially if you're not super familiar with Chicago. The lake is literally like an ocean. It blew me away the first time we went to it. You can rent divvy bikes all over the city. They are $3 for a 30-minute ride, and the lakefront trail goes the entire span of the city. It's like 13 miles long or something crazy. So it's really easy to get on there. You're not fighting with cars and traffic. You can just ride the lakefront all the way up and it is stunning. If you're not somebody who wants to ride super far, go ahead and just ride up to Lincoln Park, park your bike in one of the divvy bike stations, and then go to offshore for drinks. It's like a big tent that they pop up in summer and do this really beautiful California style beach bar. Their drinks are really, really good and it's a beautiful place to stop and enjoy the water a little bit while having a bevy on the beach. If you are coming in winter, another one of my favorite things to do is rent ice skates and go skate on the Maggie Daly ribbon in the loop. It is beautiful. It's right in the middle of Millennium Park. It is this really cool skating ribbon. It's not like a normal skating rink. It wraps around and it's really pretty. It's free to use the skating rink, so if you have your own ice skates, you can bring them, but it's also super cheap to be able to rent skates there, and it's a really fun activity to do in wintertime when there's not as much happening outside in the city. Winter is also a really great time to do a brewery tour. Chicago is very well known for a bunch of its different breweries, Goose Island being one of the most prevalent ones. You can go to these different breweries and do a brewery tour, and it's also a really fun place to try a bunch of different beers because most of them do flights, or you can do half pours and get lots of different ones to sample and see what the Chicago beer scene is all about. I can't make a video about things to do in Chicago without touching on pizza and hot dogs. And so first off, deep dish pizza. Look, I said it in a video before and I've gotten reamed for it, but let me clarify, locals do not eat deep dish pizza. It is not common. Most people go for thin crust pizza instead. But if you've never been to Chicago and you've never had a deep dish pizza, you've got to try it at some point. So my personal recommendation is Luminalti's. However, everybody has their favorites. The three most common are Luminalti's, Giordano's, and Pequod's. Pequod's is more your mom and pop shop that a lot of people really love in Lincoln Park. I'm gonna be honest, for some reason, it's just not my favorite. I find it really bready, and so everyone says to order it with extra cheese, and that kind of just makes me be like, why doesn't it come with extra cheese anyways? I don't know. However, people love their different Chicago deep dish pizzas. You gotta try one if you are coming and visiting. And a Chicago hot dog, you can't can't leave without a Chicago hot dog. Not only are they absolutely delicious, but they are something that locals love to eat as well. Portillo's is just the fan favorite. It is crazy to me because Portillo's literally reminds me of like a Bubba Gumps. Like, it's very cheesily decorated, super touristy looking. However, if you talk to a Chicago local, they love Portillo's, like love Portillo's. It's crazy. So if you're gonna do a Chicago hot dog, that's always my top recommendation. And the last thing I wanted to point out of things to do when visiting Chicago is go to some sort of show. Whether it is a comedy show, which there are tons of, there's Second City, there's Zanies, there are lots and lots of little random comedy show pop-ups all over the city. You can get tickets for as cheap as 10 bucks a lot of the time, or go to a Broadway show. Chicago has their own Broadway. We have Dear Evan Hansen, we've had Wicked, we had Hamilton, all of these big shows come through. So definitely check out and see what's gonna be here when you're here, or go to the ballet, a concert. There are so many venues. It is absolutely worth your time to check out and see what there is happening in the city, and try and go to one of them just because it is so cool and Chicago has so much to offer. I hope you liked this video. I hope this gave you a good idea of some different things to do in the city. I am absolutely obsessed with Chicago and I love showing it off to all of my friends and family, and hopefully this gives you some ideas of some things that you can do so you fall in love with this city as well. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the video, feel free to comment down below, and of course hit that big red subscribe button. I post 3 videos a week and I'd love for you to follow along. Lastly, go over and follow me on Instagram. I post a ton of Chicago content over there and I would love to have you follow that too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.